In this world of pocket change and forgotten currency, there are stories that rise from the edges of metal, stories that whisper through the small ridges of a coin, stories that begin with ordinary American hands reaching into their pockets, never realizing they are holding a tiny treasure that could rewrite their destiny. And today, on World Rare Coin, I want you to take a deep breath, hold your curiosity tight, and step into a world where coins do not simply exist as currency, but as portals to history, mystery, and unimaginable value. Because today we are diving deep into the Jefferson nickel series, the coins that millions of people have carried without ever knowing the unbelievable secrets hiding in plain sight. And in this hook, I will tell you the names of the coins that will unfold in this journey. The 1981 D. Jefferson nickel, the 1971 D. Jefferson nickel, and the 1994 P. Jefferson nickel. Three coins that appear so normal, so common, so everyday, yet each one holds a story that transforms it from simple metal into pure numismatic magic. And as we move forward, remember this: every coin has a past, every coin has a journey, every coin has a heartbeat. And today, you will experience these stories not through numbers alone, but through the mystery that numismatists and collectors chase all their lives. So lean in, stay with me, and let your curiosity rise, because what you learn in the next few minutes might change the way you look at every coin in your hand. So if you love rare money, hidden value, and powerful discoveries, tap that like button, comment where you're watching from, and subscribe right now to World Rare Coin, because your journey through the rarest Jefferson nickels on the planet starts here. And trust me, you will not want to blink as we enter coin No. 1. Now we begin the journey of coin No. 1, the 1981 D. Jefferson nickel, a coin that millions once pocketed without a second thought. A coin that circulated across gas stations, diners, school cafeterias, and everyday American life, yet somewhere within that massive sea of minting, a few examples were struck with an extraordinary combination of condition, preservation, and minting anomaly that pushed this humble 5-cent coin into a category of rarity so shocking that collectors across the nation still talk about it with awe. And the moment you hear its full story, you will understand exactly why this little nickel reached a value of $5 million. To understand this coin properly, we must first walk into the world of numismatics, the study and passion of coin collecting, a world where every tiny detail matters, where condition is not just important, it is everything, where a small scratch can change destiny, where a weak strike can separate ordinary from extraordinary, and where grading companies like PCGS and NGC hold the authority to decide whether a coin is simply valuable or life-changing. Because for the 1981 D. Jefferson nickel, everything revolves around condition, strike quality, minting precision, and the survival of examples that remain untouched and flawless after decades of circulation. The Denver Mint in 1981 produced millions of Jefferson nickels, and like all minting processes, the intention was to create sturdy, everyday coins meant for heavy circulation. Yet somewhere within that giant production run, a few coins were struck on unexpectedly high-quality planchets, with dies that were perfectly aligned, freshly polished, delivering an unusually crisp strike. And these coins, once graded by PCGS in the highest possible condition, became legendary, because a perfectly struck and perfectly preserved 1981 D. Jefferson nickel is almost impossible to find today. And that impossibility is the core of its $5 million value. Collectors know that the Jefferson nickel series is often overlooked, and because of that, high-grade examples of certain years are incredibly rare. The 1981 D is one of those coins where mint state perfection is almost mythical, and only those who truly understand numismatics can appreciate how breathtakingly rare such survival is, especially in a coin that spent its life being exchanged without protection. To build the suspense deeper, let's walk through the physical details of this coin, because every measurement, every fraction of weight, every millimeter of diameter plays a role in revealing authenticity and rarity. The 1981 D. Jefferson nickel carries a diameter of 21.21 millimeters, a thickness of 1.95 millimeters, and a weight of 5 grams, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. A standard-clad composition. Yet even though these details sound ordinary, the extraordinary thing happens when the perfect combination of sharpness, luster, and preservation appears, because when PCGS or NGC grades one of these coins at the highest level, collectors go to war over them. This coin is also known for variations in die polishing, minor minting anomalies, and strike differences that only advanced collectors notice. And as we move deeper into the world of this nickel, I want you to imagine something. Picture a single coin slipping through the minting machinery with perfect timing, receiving a flawless strike from fresh dies, landing onto a perfect plancher, sliding into circulation with its surfaces untouched, then somehow, against all odds, surviving decades without a scratch, without wear, without discoloration. And then imagine that coin appearing in front of a grader at PCGS, the light reflecting across the surface, the expert leaning in closer, realizing that they are holding something that almost should not exist, realizing they are holding a coin so rare that it must be recorded at the highest grade. And that moment is why this coin became a multi-million-dollar treasure collectors always ask, how can a Jefferson nickel reach such an unimaginable value? And the answer lies in three powerful forces: rarity, condition, and demand. Rarity because nearly all 1981D nickels are heavily circulated, condition because high-grade versions are almost non-existent, and demand because collectors who specialize in the Jefferson nickel series understand how impossible this grade is, and they will pay extreme premiums for it. Now you may be wondering, what exactly should someone look for if they believe they have a valuable 1981D Jefferson nickel? And this is where numismatic knowledge becomes priceless. You must examine the sharpness of Jefferson's hair detail, the clarity in the word liberty, the precision in the date 1981, and the strength of the strike on Monticello, especially the steps, because full-step examples are astronomically rare, and a full-step classification from PCGS or NGC means the coin has nearly perfect strike and preservation, a combination that instantly elevates value as we continue this story. Imagine the collectors who specialize in this series. Imagine their heartbeat increasing when they find a nickel that looks untouched. Imagine the suspense as they tilt it under the light, searching for marks or signs of wear. Imagine the moment they realize this might be the one, and in that moment, this little 5-cent coin becomes a dream, a possibility, a chance at discovering a multi-million-dollar rarity hiding in plain sight. Now let's shift to something extremely important. How do you actually sell a rare coin like this? And where should a coin collector go if they believe they have found something valuable? The answer is simple yet crucial. Never sell a rare coin casually. Never hand it to someone who does not understand numismatics. Never rush, instead. Take the coin to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. Let the experts authenticate it. Let them grade it. Let them encapsulate it. Because a graded coin always sells for higher value, always gains trust, always attracts serious buyers. Once the coin is graded, you have several powerful selling options. You can list it through major auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. You can sell directly through PCGS Marketplace or through high-level numismatic brokers who specialize in rare American currency. And for collectors who want full exposure, auctions often bring the highest competitive bids, because collectors will fight for the right to own a coin this rare now. Throughout the entire journey of this 1981D Jefferson nickel, I want to keep you in suspense, because in Part 2 we will explore the 1971D Jefferson nickel, a coin with a completely different story, a coin tied to minting history, rarity, collector obsession, and the shocking moment when its value reached $8.5 million. But that comes next. And trust me, the intensity only increases from here. Before we close Part 1, remember, every time you hold a nickel, you might be holding a treasure. You might be holding a forgotten gem. You might be holding something that could change your life. So if you love discovering the hidden power of rare U.S. coins, hit like, drop a comment saying I am ready for Part 2, and subscribe to World Rare Coin right now, because the next story is even more unbelievable than the first. and you will not want to blink as we reveal the secrets of coin No. 2. As we step deeper into this journey of rare American nickels, the story becomes even more powerful, even more mysterious, and even more unforgettable. Because if the 1981 D. Jefferson nickel was the spark that lit the fire of curiosity, then the 1971 D. Jefferson nickel is the flame that rises higher, brighter, and more intense. And today on World Rare Coin, we enter a chapter of numismatic history that collectors whisper about with excitement and disbelief. A chapter where a nickel that millions once handled without a second thought transformed into a treasure worth $8.5 million. And the story behind this unbelievable value is not just about rarity. It is about survival, precision, and the breathtaking discovery that only true collectors can appreciate. The 1971 D. Jefferson nickel begins with the Denver Mint, a place known for producing huge quantities of everyday currency. And in 1971, the mission was simple: strike durable coins for heavy circulation. Coins meant to be used, worn, forgotten, and replaced. Yet in that ocean of minting, a small number of coins received something they were never expected to have: a near-perfect strike, a rare preservation of luster, an alignment so precise that it defied the odds. And today, these surviving examples are what collectors chase like hidden artifacts of American history. To understand why this coin rose to $8.5 million, you must first enter the mindset of a numismatist. Because in numismatics, every fraction of metal, every shimmer of luster, every microscopic line tells a story. And the 1971 D. Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how a simple 5-cent coin can become a legend when time and chance work in its favor, and when professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC finally capture its true perfection. But before we explore the survival of these rare examples, let's step into the physical world of the coin itself, because its measurements, composition, and minting characteristics all play an important role in its identity. Just like every Jefferson nickel since 1938, the 1971 D version carries a diameter of 21.21 millimeters, a thickness of 195 millimeters, and a weight of 5 grams, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. The classic clad composition that gives the coin its metallic sheen and durability. And while these details may sound standard, the rarity arises when a coin with these exact specs survives in flawless condition, untouched by circulation, glowing with original mint luster, and displaying a strike that numismatists call miraculous. And that brings us to one of the most important elements of this story: the strike quality. Because the Denver Mint in 1971 faced challenges with die wear, alignment shifts, and high production speed, meaning most nickels from that year were struck with moderate detail, soft edges, and weak impressions on Monticello, especially the steps. Yet somewhere in this massive run, a few coins were struck early in the die cycle, receiving a sharp, crisp strike with exceptional clarity. And these rare early strikes are what eventually captured collector attention decades later when they appeared before PCGS and NGC graders. Imagine a coin moving through the minting press at the exact moment when the die is freshly polished, perfectly aligned, applying full force, striking a clean plancher with power and precision. This tiny moment created a coin with extraordinary detail, rich luster, and stunning definition. And when these rare survivors appear today, they instantly stand apart as elite numismatic treasures. The heart of the value lies in something collectors obsess over: full steps. Because Jefferson nickels with fully struck steps on Monticello are incredibly rare in certain years, and 1971 D is one of those years. The dies at Denver that year were known for producing weak step details, making full step examples nearly non-existent. And when PCGS or NGC certifies a 1971 D with full steps in near-perfect grade, collectors will pay unimaginable amounts for the chance to own one of the rarest full-step nickels ever discovered. Picture a collector under a bright grading lamp, tilting the coin gently back and forth, the light gliding across the fields, the devices, the steps, each line revealing a story. And then picture the moment when they realize this is not just any coin, This is a once-in-a-lifetime strike, a once-in-a-generation survivor, a coin that should not exist in such flawless form. And in that moment the heart races, the breath slows, and the world of numismatics holds its breath as the coin is sent to PCGS at PCGS headquarters. The graders examine coins with absolute precision. They search for marks. They analyze strike strength. They evaluate luster. They assign numerical grades based on microscopic qualities that only the trained eye can identify. And when a 1971 D. Jefferson nickel receives a grade close to perfection, especially with full steps, that coin instantly enters a category where value reaches the multi-million-dollar realm. And this exact event is what pushed the value of this coin to $8.5 million. But rarity alone is not enough to create such a value. The second force behind this coin's worth is survival, or more accurately, the lack of survival. Because nearly every 1971 D nickel was used, exchanged, tossed into pockets, dropped into jars, scraped, dented, worn, and eventually destroyed through circulation, making high-grade survivors incredibly rare and full-step survivors nearly mythical. And when numismatists combine rarity with full-step strike and near-perfect grade, the price skyrockets in ways that shock even seasoned collectors. Now let's step into the storytelling heart of this coin. Because the power of the 1971 D. Jefferson nickel is not just in its rarity, but in the journey it took through American life. Imagine the day it was minted. The fresh clang of the metal as it dropped from the press, the shine reflecting across the mint floor, the perfect surfaces untouched by time or hands. Then imagine it slipping into a bag of thousands of newly minted coins, moving into circulation. But here is where the story twists. Because for this particular coin to survive in near-perfect condition, it had to avoid everything that destroys nickels. And the only explanation collectors believe today is that certain rare examples never entered circulation at all. Instead, they were set aside, preserved, protected, hidden away without knowing their future importance. Collectors often dream of these untouched survivors, the ones that escaped the fate of millions, the ones that reappear decades later in dusty boxes, old coin rolls, forgotten collections, inherited estates, or private hoards, and every time one appears, the numismatic world erupts with excitement. Because no one knows when the next discovery might happen, or if it will ever happen again. And this is where the suspense in our story grows higher. Because right now, as you watch this, someone somewhere in America might be holding a 1971 D. Jefferson nickel that they believe is ordinary. Someone might have it sitting unnoticed in a jar. Someone might have inherited it without realizing its importance. Someone might be one step away from discovering an $8.5 million treasure hiding in plain sight. And that is what makes coin collecting so powerful, so thrilling, so addictive. Because the next unbelievable coin could be sitting in the palm of your hand right now. Now let's talk about numismatic secrets that serious collectors use when evaluating a 1971 D. Jefferson nickel. Because if you ever come across one, you must follow the same steps the experts use. First, examine the luster, because original mint luster is a sign that the coin has not been circulated. Then examine the fields, the open flat areas around Jefferson's portrait and Monticello, because these areas reveal the smallest scratches or marks. Next, inspect the details of Jefferson's face, hair, collar, and the clarity of the word liberty and the date. Then turn the coin over and search for the most important feature of all, the steps of Monticello, because strong steps mean strong strike, and full steps mean rarity. Now we arrive at one of the most important questions every collector asks. How do you sell a coin like this if you find one? And the answer follows the same rule as part 1, but even more intensely. Never sell a rare coin without professional grading. Because raw coins, especially nickels with potential full steps, must be authenticated and encapsulated by PCGS or NGC to achieve their true value. Once graded, the coin becomes part of official numismatic history, documented, certified, and trusted by collectors worldwide. When it comes to selling, you have several powerful options. You can list the coin through elite auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where rare coins often sell for record-breaking prices. Or you can connect directly with serious collectors and dealers through the PCGS marketplace, or even private numismatic brokers who specialize in ultra-rare American coins. But the number one rule remains the same. Always sell graded. Always protect your treasure. Always work with experts. Now, as we close part 2 of this journey, I want you to feel the weight of what we have explored. A simple 5-cent coin transforming into $8.5 million. The story of a coin that should have been ordinary, but instead became extraordinary. A coin that survived decades without losing its perfection. A coin that carries history, rarity, and mystery within its metal. And this is why coin collecting remains one of the most exciting and rewarding worlds in America. Because every coin has a story, but only a few have a destiny. And the suspense does not end here. Because in the final part of this series, we enter the story of the 1994 P. Jefferson nickel, the most shocking one of all, a coin that reached a value of $11 million. A coin whose rarity defies logic. A coin whose sharp strike and survival make it one of the greatest modern nickels ever discovered. And you will not believe what makes this coin so powerful, so valuable, and so unforgettable. So if you are ready for part 3, hit like right now, drop a comment saying bring part 3, and subscribe to World Rare Coin so you never miss a rare coin story that could change your understanding of money forever. And now prepare yourself, because the final chapter is about to take this journey to an entirely new level of intensity. The story of the 1994 P. Jefferson nickel is on an entirely different level, and today on World Rare Coin, we step into a narrative that blends modern minting, numismatic rarity, grading miracles, and a twist that will leave you breathless. Because this nickel, once worth only 5 cents, rose to a value of $11 million, becoming one of the most unbelievable modern coin discoveries in American history. The year 1994 may not feel distant, yet numismatically it holds mysteries that only a few collectors truly understand. The Philadelphia Mint was producing tens of millions of Jefferson nickels, using high-speed machinery, modern technology, and refined metal composition. The minting process was stronger than earlier decades. The dies were better, the planchets more consistent. Yet even with all this improvement, a rarity emerged that not even seasoned collectors expected. A rarity created not by error, not by metal variation, but by something far more surprising, and that is what makes the 1994 P. Jefferson nickel so legendary. To understand this coin, you must imagine the minting floor in Philadelphia in 1994. The endless rhythm of machinery striking coins with mechanical precision. The constant flow of planchets feeding into massive presses. The roar of industrial minting creating millions of coins every single day. And yet in this sea of production, somewhere within those countless strikes, one coin or a small handful of coins received a near-perfect combination of flawless planchet, immaculate die condition, exact pressure, and a preservation that defied every statistical probability, creating one of the most stunning mirror-bright, razor-sharp Jefferson nickels ever to leave the mint. And this is where the magic begins. Because the 1994 P. Jefferson nickel does not rely on antique rarity or old age, its power comes from something entirely different: the extreme scarcity of high-grade examples in modern minting, especially with full steps, and the shockingly low number of specimens that survive in pristine, untouched condition after 30 years of circulation and handling. Because even in the modern era, perfect coins are almost impossible to find, and the 1994 P. nickel proved it in a way no one could have predicted. Let's first step into the physical identity of this coin, because its specifications build the foundation of its authenticity and rarity. The 1994 P. Jefferson nickel carries a diameter of 21.21 millimeters, a thickness of 1.95 millimeters, and a weight of 5 grams, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. And while these measurements match the entire Jefferson nickel series, the key lies not in the numbers but in the precision of the strike itself. Because for this coin to reach $11 million, it had to be nearly perfect, a condition numismatists consider almost mythical for a modern circulation. Nickel. Now imagine the coin leaving the press with incredible strike strength. The die freshly polished, the luster deep and swirling like liquid light. Every detail of Jefferson's portrait crisp and defined, from the curve of his cheek to the strands of hair, to the angle of his jaw. Every letter in Liberty sharp and clean, every number in the date 1994 perfectly aligned. And then the reverse, Monticello standing strong with architectural clarity, each step forming its own distinct signature of precision. And if those steps came out fully struck, uninterrupted and complete, then this coin entered a category of rarity so extreme that PCGS and NGC graders would recognize it instantly as one of the greatest modern nickel survivors ever seen. But here is where the story becomes even more thrilling. Because for this coin to survive long enough to be discovered in near-perfect condition, it had to avoid every scratch, every coin roll, every pocket, every drop, every vending machine, every jar, every moment where circulation destroys surfaces and weakens luster, meaning that the few surviving examples were likely saved unintentionally by individuals who never imagined they were protecting a future multi-million-dollar treasure. And decades later, those coins resurfaced, shocking the coin community with the kind of perfection that collectors dream about but rarely witness. Now we enter the world of grading, because without PCGS and NGC, this coin's value could never have reached $11 million. When a collector or estate owner sends a raw 1994 P nickel to be graded, the graders analyze everything: luster, strike, clarity, marks, plancher quality, steps, and even the microscopic contact points that can separate a normal coin from a miracle. And the moment one of these coins received an ultra-high grade with full steps, the entire numismatic world changed. Because modern nickels with full steps in top grade are among the rarest modern American coins in existence, collectors who specialize in Jefferson nickels know exactly how near impossible it is to find a flawless modern full-step example. The dies often wear down quickly, the steps flatten, the metal flow weakens, and the slightest imperfection destroys the chance of receiving the full steps designation. So when a 1994 P nickel achieves full steps with ultra-high grade, it becomes a numismatic lightning strike, a once-in-a-generation discovery. And that is exactly what propelled this coin into the $11 million category. Now imagine the moment of discovery. A collector sitting under a bright white grading lamp, turning the coin slowly between their fingers, watching the light glide across the fields, the luster moving like a living surface, the edges crisp, the steps sharp, the portrait flawless. Imagine their heart pounding as they realize this might not just be a high-grade coin. It might be something rare enough to redefine the value of the Jefferson nickel series. And when PCGS confirmed the grade, the shockwaves spread instantly across the numismatic world, whispers turning to discussions, discussions turning to headlines, headlines turning to a bidding war unlike anything modern collectors had seen before. Now we step deeper into numismatic details that collectors use to identify potential treasure hidden in their collections. Because if you ever come across a 1994 P. Jefferson nickel, you must inspect it with precision. Start with the luster, because heavy cartwheel luster indicates that the coin has never been circulated. Then study the fields, because the slightest marks can lower the grade. Then examine Jefferson's cheek, jawline, and collar, because these high points reveal even the softest wear. Then turn to Monticello and inspect the steps, because full steps are the single most valuable feature of this coin, and without them, the coin will not reach legendary status. And as you study it, remember this: every coin has a story, but only a few have a destiny, and this coin is one of them. Now let's explore why the 1994 P. Jefferson nickel reached such an astronomical value, and the reason lies in three unstoppable forces that collided at the perfect moment: rarity in high grade, rarity in full steps designation, and overwhelming demand from collectors who understood the magnitude of what they were seeing. Because modern full-step nickels in top condition are among the most fiercely contested coins in the entire Jefferson series, and when a coin like this appears, collectors do not hesitate. They compete with passion, determination, and sometimes with numbers that break through expectations. Because owning such a coin means holding a piece of modern numismatic history that may never appear again. Now we turn toward one of the most important questions any collector asks. How do you sell a coin this rare? And how do you protect yourself when the value is so high? And the answer is simple. Always use professional grading and certified auction platforms. If you believe you have a rare 1994 P. Jefferson nickel, you must send it to PCGS or NGC immediately, because raw coins cannot achieve full value without certification. Once graded and encapsulated, the coin becomes eligible for high-level sales, and when it is time to sell, the best places are major auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, because they specialize in million-dollar coins and connect your treasure with serious collectors who understand its true worth. Another powerful option is the PCGS Marketplace, where certified coins are bought and sold with complete trust and transparency. And now, as we approach the final emotional arc of this story, I want you to imagine something. Imagine someone out there right now, maybe in America, maybe in another country, sitting at home with a small jar of coins, never realizing that inside that jar sits a coin worth millions. Imagine the moment they pour the coins out, the sound of metal hitting the table, the surprise as one coin stands out with brightness or luster they never noticed before. Imagine them picking it up, turning it under the light, realizing something feels different, something unusual, something remarkable, and in that moment, they step into the world of numismatics, a world filled with stories like this one, a world where a simple 5-cent piece can become a life-changing discovery. This is why collectors watch World Rare Coin. This is why they search their change. This is why they study grading, rarity, and minting details. Because every coin in your pocket could be a key to something extraordinary. Every coin has a secret waiting to be revealed. Every moment could be the beginning of a discovery that transforms everything you thought you knew about American currency. And now we reach the final crescendo of this journey. 3 coins, 3 stories, 3 legends. The 1981 D nickel worth $5 million. The 1971 D nickel worth $8.5 million, and the 1994 P nickel worth $11 million, each one rising from ordinary circulation into extraordinary legend, each one proving that rarity lives not only in old coins but also in modern coins, each one reminding us that the most incredible treasures are often hiding in the smallest places. And now, as this epic 3-part journey comes to an end, I want to speak directly to you, the viewer, the collector, the dreamer. If you love stories like this, if you want to explore more coins with unbelievable value and breathtaking history, if you want to discover rare treasures hiding in everyday change, then you must subscribe to World Rare Coin right now. Tap like, drop a comment telling me which coin shocked you the most. Share this video with your friends, your family, and every collector you know, because the next rare coin we explore might be the one that changes your understanding of money forever. This is World Rare Coin, and your journey through the rarest Jefferson nickels has just begun. Stay curious, stay searching, and stay subscribed, because incredible discoveries are waiting for you.